Hi, guys. Welcome back to The Talk of the Town, a podcast by TheBlock where we sit down with interesting people to talk about interesting things. I'm Nikki, your host, and today our guest is Mr. Rony Dahan, founder of Vesta. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nikki, for receiving me to this podcast.
Of course.
I'm happy to share some insight about tokenization in general and about my company.
Yeah, our favorite topic. Okay, so let's kick things off maybe with some background on yourself and how you ended up founding Vesta and what you're doing at Vesta.
Yeah, so my background is real estate. All my life I used to work in real estate development. And I understand that there is a lack of liquidity in this market, and especially where you have a lot of LP and investors that invest big amount and want to exit from the deal. They cannot. They need manually, and it's an archaic process to find another investor to buy the deal. So I started Vesta in 2022, so 4 years ago, without knowing about tokenization and the blockchain, just about thinking that I want to bring a solution to the market. And it was a very successful project since 2022. I understand the traction and understand the technology of the blockchain to bring the tokenization. So I started Vesta only for real estate. Now we tokenize private equity, debt, mining company, and startup equity also.
Okay, so before jumping into more detailed questions about yourself and Vesta and tokenization, I want to play a quick game. We play this with all our guests, and it kind of help break the ice and also the audience to get to know you better. So it's called This or That. So I'm going to say this or that, and you pick quickly.
Okay.
Okay, ready? DeFi or TradFi?
DeFi.
Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Bitcoin.
Tokenized real estate or private equity?
Private equity.
Fractional ownership or full ownership?
Fractional ownership.
Permissioned or public blockchain?
Public blockchain.
Okay, regulation first or innovation first?
Innovation first.
Invest in a startup or premium property?
Startup.
Okay, now I know what I want to ask first. When I asked tokenized real estate or private equity, you said private equity.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because at the end, real estate it's a private equity, and I really believe in bringing fractional ownership and tokenization to private equity, to the private market. Real estate, it's very complicated to tokenize, especially about the data.
Yeah.
You have real estate all over the world, and to analyze and to make the due diligence on the real estate project take me 50% of my time. Private equity, it's so easy. When you tokenize a company like Stripe, like SpaceX, that are not listed in stock exchange, you just need to follow the market, the supply and demand, and to tokenize it. So that's why I choose private equity, because there is a big demand on all these companies to invest.
Yeah.
And also it's easier for my side and for the due diligence process.
Yeah. On the demand side, do you see more demand for real estate or for private equity?
On the demand side, I see private equity, and especially for famous company that are not listed. So all these companies that don't want to get listed, because when you are listed in stock exchange, you need to communicate with the government, you need to tell about your profit, your dividend, and company don't want that. So I think tokenization for them, it's a no-brainer. And a lot of company go for that, and investor like it because they want to invest in the companies they use, in the software they use that is not listed. So I think it's very big, but also real estate. And when I mean real estate, now I do only big projects. When I tokenize a real estate project, I will not tokenize an apartment. I will not tokenize a small villa. I will tokenize an hotel, a plot, an island. This is the kind of projects excite me.
Yeah. So when you were in traditional real estate, you said development, right? Yes. Where did you hear about tokenization? How did it spark in your life that made you want to go towards Vesta?
I started Vesta with one partner called Adam, and I know him since I'm young.
Oh.
Since I'm maybe 12.
Yeah.
And very smart, very, very smart. He was 8, I was 12, but he was almost on the same class because he was very successful on the study. So I always wanted to make a business with him. And he told me, Ronnie, did you heard about this new technology, about the blockchain, to tokenize an asset? So I told him, no, let's explore that. So what we did, we create that without knowing what we do.
Yeah.
We just create a smart contract, create a token, and we say, okay, this token now is this real estate. But after I understand with my lawyer, no, Ronnie, it's not like that. It's not because you allocate a token to a real estate.
Yeah.
It need to have a real correlation.
Yeah.
But we start without knowing what we do. We just because we wanted to go on the wave of the blockchain and like everybody buying Bitcoin, we say, okay, let's create the tokens that have a relation with real estate.
Yeah.
And after we understand all the legal side and we create the appropriate SPV, legal structure, we understand that it's not the real estate itself that you tokenize, but the share of the company who own the real estate. And this is how I start. And it was a very successful project. Especially on the last 6 months, we raised a lot of capitals for real estate project and also for private equity and debt.
Yeah. Now I understand why you said innovation first before regulation. And I completely agree with you. I think as long as we're not doing it, we're never going to figure out how it's actually done. And I think it's one of the blockages that we have now is that we're trying to regulate things before we even test it out, which is why I appreciate projects that are like pilot projects or sandboxes. I think they really help the regulators understand what needs to be regulated and how it needs to be regulated. So when you started off, where were you where did you start Vesta?
Where I start? Yeah, I start in Miami. I start in Miami because at this time in 2022, all my competitor was there. So Realty, Lofty, and I said, okay, if they are in Miami, it means that there is a reason for that. So I took my my luggage and I said, okay, let's go with my partner. And we met all this person, all this big company, and we start understanding how we need to tokenize. Our first project was a big basket of 100 single family property all over the US.
Yeah.
So what we did, we went to an investment fund and we say, okay, we want to tokenize your 100 property and to do a token. We call that the VBT token, the Vesta Basket token.
Nice.
And it was a very successful project.
Yeah.
And about what you say about innovation and regulation, technology goes so fast and regulation is very slow. So it's very hard to, when you are waiting for the regulation to catch the innovation, it's almost impossible. So you need to wait and to wait. So I decide, and that's why also I choose DeFi, because this is I prefer to work under exemption of regulation than to be regulated, because I want to move fast and I want to follow the technology of the blockchain, of the tokenization, of the new smart contract. Now there is the ERC 1604 that is a very good smart contract for RWA, but also AI. I want to implement AI. If I need to wait for the regulator to implement AI on the regulation, it will last forever. So I shift more on the technology side of the tokenization than on being an exchange or a broker-dealer.
Yeah. And so how would you say that the risk of bad actors can be mitigated in this space? Because so we all have been experiencing the waves of crypto, like we had the NFT wave and the meme coin wave. And the major sentiment out of those was that there was a lot of scams, right? And now we're going into this tokenization wave. And we're all saying that regulators need to catch up with us and it's not fast enough. But at the same time, it's real money that's being deployed into these projects. Mm-hmm. So obviously, there's the intention of the person doing it. But then without full regulation, how do you see investors being protected in this market?
So it's a very good question, Nikki. And I think the answer is data. So if you invest in a project, first, as an investor, you need to make your research.
Yeah.
You don't invest in a RWA token as you invest in a meme coin. You need to understand, you need to see the legal document, to check the valuation of the project, to make your own due diligence on the project, even if you invest $500. But it's not the role of the tokenization platform to make the due diligence on any project. For example, I have my new platform, Vestascan. It's just a tech provider. You go there, you select your project, you can deploy your token for free. It takes you 5 minutes to deploy. You explain about the project, you put all the documents, legal document, investor deck, valuation, certification, license, you put everything on the data room. It's like a Google Drive, but inside the platform. And the investor need to take the decision if he want to invest or no. People who tokenize in my platform can choose to be verified, like the Instagram V, okay? But it will be the Vesta V that, okay, Vesta took the time, but you need to pay for that.
Yeah.
And Vesta take the time to make the due diligence, to check that the project is a good project, that the value is a good project. But the solution to avoid scam is to prevent the investor. Tokenization is not magic. When you invest in a RWA, and people can get scammed in buying a physical apartment or buying a token. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. What's the biggest misconception that you see that investors have when they, or even asset owners that want to tokenize? What's the biggest misconception that you see they have about tokenization when they first come into it?
Yes. Especially an asset owner. You know how many people contact me, tell me, Rony, I have this $10 million project, $20 million project. I want to tokenize because I want to raise funds. People think that tokenization is magic. People think that, okay, I will tokenize, I will raise. But your project is a good project. We need to check that first. The return on investment is a good return. Is it safe?
Yeah.
Do you own the plot? And all these questions you need to ask to the asset owner for him to understand that tokenization is not magic. Of course, right now, and I see that, it's the best way to raise funds, and especially a lot of money. But it's not a bypass. It's not because it's not a small alley that you go and you know that you will raise the money. It's not the case. Your project is the first. Need to be good. You need to know how to source the project. And after that, if you tokenize a good project, you will find the investor. But if you tokenize a bad project, it will stay a bad project.
And I actually wrote a LinkedIn post about this because we have the same problem. People will be coming and being like, we want to tokenize this and that. And then I'm like, okay, why? And they're like, well, because we weren't able to raise on it from traditional investors. I'm like, then you have a different problem. Tokenization is not going to just change the asset and make it an investable asset. It needs to be investable first. So I completely understand
but it's good for us,
Yeah.
Also for me, when I have someone who's ready to pay for tokenization and my ethic, because I'm a very ethical person.
Yeah.
And just to tell you a story, one producer, very famous producer, came to me and he told me, Rony, I want to tokenize my movie. Okay. And I'm ready to pay. I explained, okay, you need to tokenize. To tokenize, it will cost you $44,000. I will create all the legal structure. I will create for you the platform, and I will do everything for you. At some point, by speaking with him, I understand that this guy really thinks that because he tokenized, he will raise all the money for his movie. And he had also a deadline. So at this time, I could say, okay, Jonathan, no problem. I will tokenize. I take my profit. I could make $30,000 on this project. But I decide to be honest and to tell him, Jonathan, you need to understand, tokenization is not what you think. Even if I tokenize, I'm not sure that I will be able to raise the money for you. It's a lot of money that you ask. And if you don't raise, you will not be able to make the movie. And I don't want you to invest too much money, even if it's a big amount for you. And he told me, Rony, I like your honesty. I will not make the deal.
Yeah.
And I live with that. And I like it because this is who I am. And I'm a real believer. Yeah. And I believe that be straight, have a good name, have a good reputation, and the money will come to you. And it was 2 years ago. And every time I think about, I should make it, I should make it. And this is one example about 20 examples that I have like that. And now I see the wheel going to my side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think even we're seeing in the tokenization space, a lot of the bad actors are not actually the issuers or the investors. It's the consultants that are saying you can do this and this and this here, here, here. And then you pay so much retainer, you go forward, and then you hit a wall and they're like, no, you actually can't do that. So it's interesting to see because in the previous waves, the bad actors were always the issuers. They were always the ones that are, raising the money. But now we're seeing that it's actually, majority of the time is the consultant. It's not actually the issuer. So it's a very interesting era. Exactly. So we talked about regulation. We talked about tokenization and different projects. I want to talk a little bit more about technology and global adoption as a whole. So firstly, have you seen an increase in adoption and in demand for tokenized projects in the last 4 or 5 years that you've been in this space?
So it was very stable. On the 3 first years I was in the space. And now in the last year, with everything what happened, the lack of liquidity, I see a big demand, like multiply by 4 or 5 what I used to see. We raised for 2 big projects. We raised $20 million in 1 month. We raised $10 million in 2 weeks. And I see a very big demand, especially from institutional investor, family offices, wealth management company that invest in my token. Right now, I deal only with them because the minimum investment is $100,000 if I tokenize with a SPV in BVI, €100,000 if I use a Luxembourg entity to tokenize. So easy. So easy, Nikki. You cannot understand. If the project is good, if the structure is the right one, if you have the good team and the good lawyer, you will raise the money. And easier than in the traditional market.
How is the secondary market looking right now for these type of tokens?
So right now it's really manual.
Yeah.
So you need to go on the platform, put your offering, and someone need to see, okay, Nikki sell $100,000 of token in Vesta that represent an hotel in Bali. Okay, I need to contact her. I need to agree on the price, and the transaction need to happen. It's not automatic. Tokenization will not be liquid as Bitcoin or as a fiat currency or stock exchange. Maybe in the future, when we will see mass adoption and only on specific RWA token, it will be the case. One of my good friend is the lawyer of Binance. It's not even a secret. They launching a RWA platform right now. If they decide to accept my token in Binance platform, yes, it will bring a lot of liquidity on secondary market. It will be easier for transaction. But right now, I have one platform. I have 1,000 accredited investor in my community. So it's not liquid as Bitcoin, for example, or other exchange assets.
But do you think it's more liquid than traditional markets, or is it the same?
Of course, 100%. To tokenize an apartment will never be liquid as you think. It will be a tokenization of an apartment. You don't know. You need to check the market, and especially in Dubai, it's very complicated because you can have one building next to each other, and one is MR is multiplied by 2, the price of the Damak one. So you cannot have a real price of per square feet on the market. In other jurisdictions like Istanbul, Turkey, France, yes, you can do that. But it will be very easy. When I tokenize an asset, always big. Yeah. This is my first rule. Rony, if you tokenize big.
Why?
Because I need to make the diligence once. I need to tokenize once. I need to create all the legal structure once. If I tokenize a full building or I tokenize an apartment, my fixed cost will be the same. So let's go for big. And also the demand for big. if an institutional investor don't want to invest in a small apartment, he want to invest in a sexy project, something that is different for all what he see. He want to invest in a football stadium, for example. He want to invest in a plot. He want to invest in a big data center that have something special in Texas, for example. This is the opportunities that I'm looking for. And most of my campaign, I do a lot of ads. Most of my campaign and my ads, it's to find this opportunity, not to find an investor.
Mm-hmm. If the opportunity is good, the investors will follow.
They will come.
So from your experience, what's a logical minimum value of an asset?
$5 million.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's less than 5 million, I don't want to deal.
How do you choose your asset? How do you choose the projects that go on your platform?
I want to be convinced. I think if I'm not convinced, I cannot sell. I'm the first person that need to be convinced because I am the seller. I will sell to my community the token. Mm-hmm. So I'm ready. I'm ready to hear about the funders that explain about his company. It can be a startup that want to raise fund. It can be a gold mining company that need to explain why it's legit and why it's not a scam and why the project is so good. What's special about your startup? What's special about your company? What's special about your real estate project? So if I'm convinced, after I start into the process and I make my due diligence, but I develop a sixth sense that I know directly if the project is good for me or it's with a bad intention.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite project that you've worked on so far?
I don't have any favorite project. My favorite project is the one my investor like.
Yeah.
One time someone told me, "Oh, Rony, what's your dream to tokenize what? To tokenize the Burj Khalifa, to tokenize the Eiffel Tower?" And I say, "No, my dream project is the project that my investor like."
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's funny, Nikki, because sometimes the best project is the one who is not sexy.
Yeah.
The one that don't look good. The flip project, when you buy a hotel that don't look good and you go for renovation and you make it working and you go for the license and you go for the full process to make it a 5-star. You make an agreement with Marriott or St. Regis to become a branded hotel and you flip, and this is the best project.
Yeah.
So my favorite one is the project my investor like, and I want to be the Amazon of private equity. I want you to come to my platform and you will be able to invest in a shipping industry, in gold, in silver, but also in real estate, also in startup company, and you choose. It's like eBay. You make your shopping and you can invest.
That's very interesting. What industries other than real estate? Because when you say private equity, that covers almost all industries. But what industries do you think have the highest potential to succeed as tokenized projects?
Debt. Tokenized debt. Bonds. I had a call this morning with a guy and told me, "Rony, why?" So I want to tokenize debt and bonds issue from insurance company. Say why? And he told me, "Rony, it solves all the question about the due diligence, because the insurance company, when they invest in a real estate project, they already made all the due diligence, and you know that they are legit. So if you tokenize the product of the insurance, because each insurance also have an investment fund. When you have an insurance, they take your money and they invest your money in something stable, in real estate, in private equity, in debt. At some point, they need to exit. They need also to sell this real estate project, to sell this debt after a certain maturity. So instead of sourcing from zero from the developer, go to the insurance company and tokenize from them. And the potential of that is huge because they have maybe 30% of the real estate market in the world belong to insurance company.
Yeah, but that scares me a little bit because of what happened in 2008. Essentially, they were selling debt. The banks were selling debt to each other and to insurance companies, and they were all insured. But then, as soon as the economy
crashed,
it was like a domino effect. Yeah, I know. But my concern is that if we're tokenizing debt and selling it to the retail or general public, and then that starts to default, then the domino effect is now
higher.
More, right?
That's why you need to hedge your risk, and tokenization is the way to diversify your portfolio.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
In 2008, when the market crashed, the silver went up.
Yeah.
Okay. Same in 1980. 1980 was a very big crisis for real estate. Silver multiplied by 5. It hit $50. $50 per ounce. It went from $5 to 50. It took 40 years to reach $50 per ounce again. So you see that there is an inverse correlation between real estate and silver. So I tell my investor, you want to hedge your risk? When you buy 80% of real estate, buy 20% of silver. When you buy 20% of silver, hedge with gold or hedge with a private equity startup.
Yeah.
The period will come. So this is how you hedge your risk, because when something fall, something rise.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. So what's your favorite part about what you do?
Technology. Technology, innovation, always find a new idea. I like, to have empty space in my calendar. I used to have like my calendar fill up with meeting. And one guy came to me and told me, Rony, it's not good, because if you are always in movement, always do meeting, when you have time to think about what you do, about your company, about the strategy, about the development. Right now, I take only very important meeting in my calendar. And most of the time, I think how I can improve my project, what solution I can bring, what investor need, why tokenization is better than another technology to raise funds. Innovation.
Do you have a background in tech?
Not.
No?
No.
How did you catch up like that?
I think right now, with all the technology, Cloud Code and ChatGPT, you can learn very fast. And I am a generalist. I like to be good at any point to give the best tool to my employee to be the best. Every employee that work for me is better than me on his field. The marketing guy is better than me. The developer, the CTO is better than me. The finance guy is better than me. But I need to know at least 50 or 60% of what he do for me, and to be able to manage them.
Yeah.
And also to give them the best tool to do his work. And on tech side, I have any background, but I think maybe 90% of the developer don't study. They study at home with YouTube and ChatGPT right now. So I think I'm the same.
And what's the latest developments in technology on the tokenization side that are exciting for you?
Vestascan.
Yeah?
Vestascan.com.
Vestascan.com. Can you tell me again what Vestascan does?
Okay. So it's like, Polyscan, Ethereum scan, where you have the list of all the crypto and tokens that made in Ethereum network or Polygon network. So I create the Vestascan network when you can go. And simply in 5 minutes with few click, you can create your own token. So of course it will be a utility token, but it will be built with the smart contract ERC-1404. That is a smart contract for RWA. And there on the data room, you need to put your own document for this utility token to become a RWA.
Yeah.
So it's totally free. I have 20 companies that tokenize each day on my platform. And it's a solution for everybody, for small company that want to raise, that want to manage the cap table of the company, but also it's a competitor to Carta.com, who is a $1 billion company who manage the private equity and the stock option of a private company. It's a very good solution for a real estate project.
What makes it unique compared to other platforms?
So you have a wallet integration inside. You can manage your cap table. You can manage your token. You can discuss with investor. You can, as an investor, you can see different opportunity from all over the world in real estate sector, in private equity, in startup. What may make me different? It's free.
Yeah,
I may be the only one who tokenize for free.
That's amazing. Okay, so just a last question. For someone that's thinking about, diversifying their portfolio and getting started in tokenized assets, what would be your personal advice, not a professional advice, but a personal advice to a friend that's thinking about getting started and putting their money into these projects? Where would you advise that they start?
Yes. So make your due diligence and invest in projects that you understand and you like. So if you use something, invest. Very simple. If you don't know something and you think it's trendy and you want to invest because you have a good feeling, no, don't do that.
And where do you see Vesta in the next 5 years?
It's a very good question. I don't know, Nikki.
Yeah.
I will follow the process and I will see where people want me to be.
Yeah.
And it will be where people ask me to be.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your insights. It was really, really nice speaking with you. And thank you guys for watching.